Financial freedom, a dream that many people can only hope to attain. But what if we told you that reaching that is within your grasp? You may find many people working throughout their lives and never achieving financial freedom. But if you pay attention to the things that can go wrong with money and try to avoid them, you can start your journey to having enough money without having to work forever. You might even get there when you're still pretty young. Don't wait to get started. You can do it. It's easier than you think. Truth is, trouble happens to nearly everyone. But the groundwork we are going to share today can put you on the right path. You have probably heard and may even feel that change is hard. We believe that when we gather together and commit to ourselves and each other, change becomes easier and even enjoyable. Each month, you will work on one aspect of your financial life to discuss and brainstorm actionable steps to build your financial roadmap. Let's create the financial life you want for yourself and create the plan to achieve your financial goals. No one is born knowing how to save or invest money. Every person who becomes successful at managing their money starts with the basics, like the information in this brochure. Some people might get lucky, maybe a rich relative helps them out, or their business takes off. But for most people, the key to having enough money is to save and invest over a long time. Lots of regular people who aren't super rich have done this and ended up with things like owning a home, being able to pay for their kids' education, and having a comfy retirement. If they can do it, you can too. Think about what you want to save and invest it. It could be a home, a car, education, a comfortable retirement, your children, dealing with unexpected medical expenses, preparing for times when you might be out of work, or taking care of your parents. Make a list of these goals and decide which ones matter most to you. Next, consider how many years you have to achieve each goal, because the way you save or invest depends on the time frame. There are different tools available to help you plan your finances and find the right savings or investment options for your goals. It's all about figuring out what's most important to you and making a plan that fits your needs. Sit down and take an honest look at your entire financial situation. You can never take a journey without knowing where you're starting from, and a journey to financial security is no different. On one side, jot down what you own, your assets, and on the other side, list what you owe, your liabilities or debts. This snapshot will give you a clear starting point for your journey to financial security. Simply put, subtract what you owe, liabilities, from what you own, your assets. If your assets are more than your liabilities, you have a positive net worth. If it's the other way around, you have a negative net worth. It's a good idea to visit this net worth statement annually to monitor your progress. If your net worth is currently negative, don't be disheartened. By following a plan to move towards a positive position, you're on the right track. Now it's time to understand your financial flow. Keep a record of your monthly income and expenses. List down what you and your family members earn, and then outline your monthly expenses. This helps you gain a clear understanding of where your money is coming from and where it's going. Make sure to allocate a portion of your income to savings and investing. Consider it as paying yourself or your family first. A helpful approach is to automate this process by allowing your bank to deduct money from your paycheck and deposit it into a savings or investment account. For even greater benefits, participate in an employer-sponsored retirement plan like a 401k, 403b, or 457b. These plans not only automatically deduct funds from your paycheck, but can also reduce your taxable income. In some cases, employers may match your contributions, which is essentially free money. Setting up automatic deductions enhances the likelihood of sticking to your financial plan and achieving your goals. If your income is fully spent, leaving no room for saving or investing, it's time to identify areas where you can trim expenses. Take a closer look at your spending habits, and you'll likely discover that seemingly insignificant daily expenses can accumulate significantly over a year. By being mindful of where your money goes, you can find opportunities to cut back and create space for saving or investing. How much does a cup of coffee cost you? Now, if you spend $5 on a daily cup of coffee, a reasonable price for a good cup these days, that amounts to $1,825 in a year. If you save that $1,825 annually and invest it in an account earning 5% interest, it would grow to $1,918.37 in 5 years. and a big $8,153.63 in 30 years. This shows the power of compounding, where you earn interest not only on your initial savings, but also on the interest that accumulates over time. Even small savings can lead to big sums. By being mindful of your spending and seeking ways to save regularly, you can make your money work for you. Consider applying this principle to other areas of your spending, not just your daily coffee. For example, if you're prone to impulse buying, establish a rule to wait 24 hours before making a purchase. You might find your desire fades. Also, emptying your pockets of spare change each day can accumulate surprisingly fast. These simple strategies can make a substantial difference in your financial growth over time. Speaking of things adding up, few investment strategies pay off as well as, or with less risk than, merely paying off all high-interest debt you may have. Many individuals carry wallets filled with credit cards, some of which may be maxed out, meaning they've reached their credit limit. While credit cards offer the convenience of purchasing expensive items without immediate cash, it's important to recognize that credit is not free money. Most credit cards impose high interest rates, often around 18% or more, especially if you don't pay off your balance in full each month. If you find yourself with credit card debt, the smartest move is to pay off the balance as swiftly as possible. Few investments can yield returns high enough to offset an 18% interest charge. It's advisable to prioritize eliminating all credit card debt before getting into savings and investing. Once your credit cards are paid off, you can better manage your finances, establish a budget, and start saving and investing. To avoid credit card debt, consider these tips. Don't use a credit card unless your debt is at a manageable level and you know you'll have the money to pay the bills when it arrives. It's easy to forget how much you've charged on your credit card. Every time you use a credit card, write down how much you have spent and figure out how much you'll have to pay that month. If you've got unpaid balances on several credit cards, you should first pay down the card that charges the highest rate. Pay as much as you can toward the debt each month until your balance is once again zero, while still paying the minimum on your other cards. The same advice goes for any other high-interest debt, above 8% or above, that does not offer the tax advantages of, for example, a mortgage. Now, once you have paid off those credit cards and begun to set aside some money to save and invest, what are your choices? There are basically two ways to make money. One, you work for your money. Someone pays you to work for them, or you have your own business. Two, your money works for you. You take your money and you save or invest it. Your money has the potential to work for you in two ways. For example, if you lend your money to someone, they pay you back with interest when the agreed-upon period ends. Similarly, if you invest in stocks or a company that pays dividends, you receive a portion of the company's earnings regularly. In essence, your money can earn an income similar to how you do. It's a collaborative effort, where both you and your money contribute to generating more wealth. Alternatively, you can use your money to buy something that has the potential to increase in value over time. By becoming an owner of an asset such as purchasing land, you anticipate that its value will rise, especially if there's growth or development in the area. When you decide to sell, ideally, someone else will pay you more than what you are initially paid for it. This strategy involves holding onto an asset with the expectation of selling it for a higher price in the future. Sometimes your money can simultaneously earn a steady income and appreciate in value, offering a dual benefit to your financial growth. Now, there's a major difference between saving and investing. Savings involve placing money in secure and easily accessible products, such as savings accounts, checking accounts, or certificates of deposit. Some of these deposits may be federally insured for adding security, typically through entities like the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or the National Credit Union Administration. The trade-off for this security and ready accessibility is that savings often yield lower returns, with the money earning minimal interest. Many individuals use savings products to cover emergencies, such as sudden unemployment, after addressing high-interest debt. However, the long-term efficacy of relying solely on savings may be challenging if the interest earned fails to keep up with inflation, impacting the purchasing power of the saved money. Investing carries a higher risk compared to saving, as investments in securities, mutual funds, and similar vehicles are typically not federally insured. There's a potential for losing the invested principal, but with this risk comes the opportunity for higher returns. Investing involves putting money into assets with the expectation that it will grow over time, offering the potential for increased wealth. This strategy is suitable for longer periods, typically 3 years or more, allowing for the effects of compound growth to enhance returns. While investing poses the possibility of financial loss, it also provides a pathway to potentially earn more returns, making it a preferred choice for those with a longer-term financial outlook. All the investments come with a level of risk. Approach stocks, bonds, or mutual funds with the understanding that there's potential to lose some or all of the invested money for any single purpose. While historical data indicates that the stock market has provided an average of around 10% annual returns over the long term, closer to 6% or 7% when accounting for inflation, the realization of these returns can take a considerable amount of time. For example, investors who entered the stock market at its peak in 1929 had to wait over 20 years to see a return to the same level. However, consistent investment over time has historically proven beneficial. Those who continued to invest during challenging periods, such as 1930s, benefited from lower stock prices, resulting in significant gains over the subsequent 2 decades. The saying, "the greater the risk, the greater the potential reward," holds true in investing. But one must avoid unnecessary risks. Investors safeguard themselves against risk through diversification, spreading their money across various investments. This strategy, often summarized as "don't put all your eggs in one basket," aims to mitigate the impact of losses in one investment by balancing them with gains in another. Diversification doesn't eliminate the possibility of market drops affecting investments, but it enhances the likelihood of minimizing losses. Investors also guard against the risk of investing at the wrong time by consistently adding new money to their investments over extended periods. This approach helps to navigate market fluctuations and reduce the impact of timing-related risks. When considering investment options, it's essential to evaluate a variety of products, such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, certificates of deposit, money market funds, and U.S. Treasury securities. While diversification doesn't provide absolute protection, it improves the chances of preserving or minimizing investment losses during market downturns. The answer depends on when you will need the money, your goals, and if you will be able to sleep at night if you purchase a risky investment where you could lose your principal. For example, for long-term goals like retirement, where you have a great time horizon, considering riskier investment products might be prudent. The rationale here is that solely relying on safer or less risky options may result in slower growth, potentially eroding the purchasing power of your money due to inflation and taxes. The key is to align your investment strategy with the timeline of your financial objectives. Conversely, if you're saving for a short-term goal with a horizon of 5 years or less, opting for low-risk investments is advisable. Short-term goals require a focus on capital preservation, as the need to sell during a market downturn could result in a loss. Investments often exhibit rapid fluctuations in value, so it's essential to ensure you can afford to wait for the opportune time to sell. Avoiding the common mistake of placing long-term funds in low-interest investments and short-term funds in high-risk vehicles is game-changing. Tailoring your investment choices to the specific timeframes and goals ensures a more strategic and risk-appropriate approach to building wealth. Congratulations on completing this part of the journey. By now you know that making change is easier when you believe change is possible. And you have the tools you need. So now is the time to make the plan for where you will go next. What is your next financial goal? What are you going to do to achieve it? Who will join you on this next journey?